Why are you here? Why do you trespass?
Once upon a time, in a quiet village named Ezoko, nestled on the edge of a thick shadowed forest, the people lived in harmony with nature. The villagers were farmers, hunters, and traders, all thriving on the resources of the land. Yet, no one dared to venture too far into the dense woods, for it was known as Obumiri, the forest of vanishing footsteps. This forest had a sinister reputation. Anyone who entered its depths never returned. Hunters lost their trails. Children who strayed too far were swallowed by the shadows, and even the most skilled trackers could not find a way out. Legends claim that the forest was alive and it had a way of erasing the footsteps of those who ventured within, leaving them forever lost. Despite these fears, the forest was rich with treasures, precious herbs, rare animals, and sparkling streams of crystal clear water. Many who had heard tales of the bonds felt tempted to risk it, but the villagers always warned, nothing is worth being lost forever. Among the villagers was a young man named Chukuma. Chukuma was daring, strong, and adventurous. He was known for his curiosity, which often led him into trouble. Unlike the others, he did not believe in the stories of the forest. He would often boast,
The forest is just a bunch of trees. I will go in one day and prove to everyone that there's nothing magical about it.
One day, when the village market was bustling with activity, an old herbalist named Norma arrived with a warning. She had journeyed from another village and claimed to have knowledge about Obumiri. The forest has secrets. She said, it is guarded by a spirit called Ajomo, the evil spirit. It traps anyone who enters, feeding on their fear and confusion. If you must enter, you must carry a pure heart and a clear purpose, or you will be doomed. But Chukwuma scoffed, old woman, your stories are for the weak and fearful. I will prove you wrong. Days passed, and the village became quieter as the dry season began. The villagers focused on their work, and Chukwuma's thoughts remained on the mystery forest. One afternoon, after gathering firewood, Chukwuma decided that the time had come. He would enter the forest at dawn when the sun was still low and the shadows were long. He packed a small bag with food, water, and a machete. He ignored the pleas of his parents and friends, who begged him not to go. As the sun rose, casting golden rays over the forest, he stepped into the shadows of Obumiri. At first, it seems ordinary. The air was cool, and the ground was soft beneath his feet. Birds crept in the trees, and he could hear the rustling of small animals. In the underbush, Chukwuma laughed. This is just like other forests, he thought. But as he ventured deeper, the atmosphere began to change. The air grew heavier and air silence settled around him. The chirping birds disappeared, replaced by the occasional rustling of leaves that seemed to echo louder than they should. Chukwuma noticed something strange. He turned to look behind him, and his heart skipped a beat. His footsteps had vanished. The ground, which had been soft and smooth, showed no signs of where he had walked. Chukwuma continued walking, his eyes danced from tree to tree, searching for any sign of the footsteps that had been vanished before. The deeper he went, the more he felt the forest close in around him. Hours passed, and Chukwuma began to feel a strange hesitation, as if something was watching him. He shook his head, trying to brush off the fear creeping into his mind. It's just my imagination, he said to himself. As night fell, Chukwuma realized he was lost. The darkness was unlike anything he had ever experienced. Thick and impenetrable, he lighted a small torch, but its flickering light barely pushed back the shadows. Then he heard it, a faint whisper. At first, he thought it was the wind, but the whispers grew louder, forming words.
Why are you here? Why do you trespass?
Chukwuma spun around, but there was no one there. The whisper seems to come back from all directions, and they filled him with a growing sense of unease. "Who is there?" he called out, his voice trembling. The whispers only laughed, a chilling sound that sent shivers down his body.
"You are not welcome here. Turn back if you can."
They hissed. As Chukwuma stumbled through the forest, he came across a clearing. In the center stood a massive tree. Its clenched roots twisted like the fingers of a giant hand. Sitting at the base of the tree was a figure draped in shadows.
"You must be the brave one who thinks he can conquer the forest,"
the figure said. Its voice was deep and resonant, echoing through the clearing. Chukwuma swallowed hard.
Who are you?
"I am Ajomo, the guardian of this forest, and you, young fool, have entered a place you do not understand,"
the figure replied. Chukwuma tried to steady his voice.
I am not afraid of you. I came here to prove that this forest is nothing but trees.
The figure laughed, a sound that made the ground tremble.
Your pride blinds you. This forest is more than trees. It is a depth of the soul. You cannot live unless you answer my riddles and prove your heart is pure.
The spirit presented 3 riddles. If Chukwuma answered correctly, he would be allowed to live. If not, he would remain in the forest forever.
What was on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening?
Chukwuma remembered this riddle from his childhood. A woman. As a baby, they crawl on all fours. As an adult, they walk on 2 legs. And in old age, they use a cane. The spirit nodded.
You are wise, but there is more to come. I speak without a mouth, and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wings. What am I?
Chukwuma thought hard. Finally, he said,
An echo.
Again, the spirit nodded.
You are clever, but the last question will test your heart. What is the most powerful thing in the world, yet the most fragile?
Chukwuma hesitated. He thought of strength, wealth and power, but none of this seemed right. Then he remembered his family, the love his parents had shown him, despite his recklessness. Love, he answered. The spirit smiled.
You have answered well, young man, but there is one final test. Ajomo pointed to a path that has suddenly appeared. Follow this path, but beware, if your heart waves, the forest will claim you.
Chukwuma began walking. The whispers returned, louder and more menacing. They mocked him, reminding him of his fears, and tried to tempt him to stray from the path. At one point, he saw visions of his village burning, his family crying for help. He nearly ran towards them, but he remembered the spirit's warning and kept his focus. Finally, he emerged from the forest. The sunlight blinded him and he fell to his knees, overwhelmed by relief. When Chukwuma returned to the village, he was a changed man. He no longer boasted or took unnecessary risks. Instead, he shared the wisdom he had gained. Respect nature and its mystery. Pride can lead to one's downfall, but humility can save you. The greatest strength lies in love and perseverance. The villagers listened, and the legend of Chukwuma and Ubummiri became a tale passed down through generations. A reminder that courage must be tempered with wisdom and respect. And so, the forest of vanishing footsteps remained a mystery and untamed place, guiding its secrets for those brave enough or foolish enough to enter. The end. Thank you guys for watching my stories, and please come back for more interesting stories. I love you.